There we go.
Oh, should be all good. All right. Here we
Hi.
go.
Hello, how are you?
I'm good, Laura. How you doing?
I'm good, Matthew. Nice to meet you.
Very, very nice to meet you. I'm kind of jealous of your office. I need to put the flowers in there. I need to deck it out with all that. I'm kind of jealous. So,
I'm a girl, come on.
hey, but
And you know
men
what?
still gotta decorate.
Can I be honest with you?
Go
I got
for it.
all this done for me because I have no time and I'm not creative.
You
But
cheated.
I got it all done for me. This is actually a frame that I got over 20 years ago. That's one of the first gifts my husband gave to me when we were dating. He gave
Oh, love
me a
that.
map of the world, and I thought that was so brilliant and beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
And here later on down after this frame, I've got my dad's hats my dad who passed away. I've got his hats hanging.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
I love
Okay,
that.
Matthew, I got to hear about your business. Okay, what is this all about? Reviving real human connection and disrupting the dating industry. I am
Yes.
all ears. Like, do you mind telling me what your business is about?
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
I'm all ears. This is
Everybody
so
hears about it
cool.
and they're like, holy crap.
I love
So
it. Okay,
so
tell me. This
so the
is so cool.
story of this, so me and my co-founder, we reconnected. We were she was dealing with stuff for like 3 years. The story behind her is like I've known her for like 13 years now. She's known me since I was like 18. We've known each other for a long time. We reconnected. We sat down and we're like, okay, I'm running an agency. You're essentially trying to build a personal brand, all that kind of stuff. And I had an idea for a podcast. So I came to her. I'm like, okay, let's work on your personal
Oh,
brand. I also have a podcast. We came up with the name Fix Your Fate. It was just out on a whim. We were trying to come up with names for
I
her brand,
love
and we're
it.
like, we
Fix
both
your
love this
face.
name.
Yeah.
And at the same time, we were talking about the problem in our world right now is human connection.
Yes,
People with
sir.
technology, nobody knows, like, especially like we're going to talk about interviews and all that stuff today. Like the amount of times that I've seen people that don't have their camera on, they don't know how to socialize and connect. I'm like, I literally I tried to like I was with her the other day and we ordered pizza and I'm trying to crack jokes with the guy on the phone at the pizza parlor and just immediately like order. I'm like, we're not even gonna have a conversation. Like I'm just trying to have some fun.
Can I tell
So,
you, today's my daughter's birthday, and I ordered her
uh-huh.
a birthday cake. So I'm on their website, and I said, "Oh wow, your Ferrero Rocher looks really good. Can you tell me more about it?"
Hmm.
Next thing I hear is music. She put me on hold. She didn't even tell me, "I'm going to put you on hold. Hold
Oh
on.
my
Thank you for
God.
asking. I'm going to put you on hold. I'm going to get somebody that knows exactly what's in this cake."
Oh
She
my
just put
goodness.
me on hold, and I'm like, "What the freak?"
Yeah.
And it's like, I'm so sorry that I'm wanting to buy your product. Shame on me. Why don't you kill me already?
Oh
How
my
dare I
goodness.
ask about your products?
Oh my goodness. Well, it's just like
I
I found that like me and Ash looked at we've been doing research over the past months. We've even gone out on the street and we've done street interviews and whatnot because we're really trying to figure out, okay, we really need to understand each generation. Every generation has their own problems, but the big thing
Yeah,
is this guy is has absolutely screwed us up. With
it
the advent of
has.
social media and technology, people don't know how to socialize anymore.
No.
Even like trying to get off, like for example, trying to get off the dating apps and get people on dates, people are scared because they don't know how to socialize anymore. All they know how
Exactly.
to do is communicate through a phone. And then as soon as
Exactly.
it comes to
Yeah.
in-person
Yeah.
interactions,
Yeah.
everybody's just like freezes up. They're like, oh my God, it's a stranger.
It's crazy. It's so sad. I know.
Yeah.
And what I noticed is that they don't even look at people in the face or in the eyes.
Yeah. Yeah. Everybody's
So
looking
it's
away or they're looking like,
overlooking
and I'm like,
away. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. And like I met my husband over 20 years ago. Oh my
Hmm.
God, it is over 20 years. Shit, I'm old. Okay, sorry. I just
No,
had
but
a moment.
that's a huge milestone. No, normally people we're doing research, and after 7 years of marriage, let's say you get married at like 35, the average divorce rate now is at like around like 42, 43 after they've been
Yeah,
married in their 30s for like
big
5 to 7 years. That's now like how long marriages are lasting. So
So
when I hear
sad.
20 years,
Yeah,
I'm like,
yeah,
you guys did the dating. You guys said I'm gonna invest in this other person long term. She's the
yeah,
right person. He's the right person for me. And you
yeah.
guys have stuck it out.
Well, Matthew, I that's what I want to tell you is that I met him online. I met him on a dating app, because I was just bored, and a friend of mine said, "Oh, let's do this." I said, "Oh my God, I shouldn't, blah, blah, blah." But I did. And in a matter of 5 minutes, I saw my husband, and I'm like, dude, I'm not interested in communicating on this app. Like, if you want, just call me, like, seriously. So we
Yeah.
talked on the phone, but you know what? I was 27 years old and I was very direct. And that's one thing I tell even candidates and people
Mm,
dating, be direct. I had no shame in saying, dude, I am marriage material. I'm not saying I want to be married next week after 5 dates. I'm
hmm
saying that I am marriage material and I'm going to be dating you because I'm looking for that. I'm not looking
hmm
for another friend. I have a lot of friends. I make friends every day because I'm very bubbly. So I don't need another friend. I don't need a boyfriend. I don't need a lover. I'm 27. I'm told him I want to make babies. I want a home, own a home, and I'm very loving, and I'm gonna scout you out for that. He's like, my God, okay, relax. I said, no, I'm just letting you know so you don't waste your time. And it's
Yeah.
about me being very upfront. And that
hmm
didn't scare him because he's like, okay, yeah, yeah, sure, me too. I'm at a stage that, sure, sure. That's it. I didn't talk about it again. I didn't harass him. I'm not waiting around. No, I'm just saying we're gonna enter, we're gonna have a date, but this is the goal. I'm interviewing you. This is an interview.
Yeah, it's dating with intent.
It's
It's
dating
dating
with
with,
intent.
yeah.
Yes. Yes.
hmm
And
Yeah.
anyway, it worked out for us, and listen, but
Love
it's
that.
tough because things change, right? You age,
Yeah.
you get tired, you get depressed, you lose a job, the other guy loses the job. Things happen, right? You got a baby, you feel ugly, you feel fat, you're tired. There's so many things. So but if you guys if people have the same goal in mind where they do want the 2 to 3 kids, they do want that house, they do want that other house in Italy, whatever. If you guys have the same goals, you're always going to make it work it out because those big goals, it's like a company. You know
Yeah.
this well, right?
Yeah.
Your big goals, you both agree, you both want to get to that. Sure, the
hmm
day in, day out, you might be in a bad mood, she might be in a bad things happen, but you always make it work out because you're on a
Mm,
mission, right?
that's it.
Anyway, that's my philosophy. So,
Yeah, I'm a
anyway,
big believer. That's one of the things that we're going to be doing is like I'll tell you how the problem we're solving. So dating apps suck. Matchmaking works really well. We looked at matchmaking. Matchmaking is too expensive for the average person to afford.
yes,
But
yes,
and so they revert back to what's the easy thing I can do to meet people without having to put myself out there. They go to dating apps.
right,
So that behavior is
right.
in train now. I know matchmaking works really well because I've looked at it. There's even a girl that's doing it online right now. She's got a community of like 6,000 guys that she's working
Amazing.
with to help out with the matchmaking. I was like, okay,
Beautiful.
there's definitely something here. So I was like, one thing
Yeah,
that I realized, like me, I used to be an absolute introvert. Like getting on this call like this, I would be scared of my boots. I'd be twiddling in my boots. I used to
wow.
be a crazy introvert, and then I went through this journey through all of my work experience. I was the lifeguard. I was forced to interact with every single member that came on deck. I was at one of the big gyms here in Toronto, and
Okay.
that experience got me out of my comfort zone. Started allowing me to actually socialize. Not like I couldn't have a phone on deck. I actually had to socialize and make conversation. Me
That's
going from like
great.
not knowing how to make conversation, actually doing that built my
Yeah,
social skills.
yeah.
And then from there, I became very comfortable with like talking to strangers. I have this expression, I got it from my coach. It's strangers are just friends you haven't met yet. And if you treat it,
That's true.
if you treat people like that, it's awesome. But where am I
It's
going with this?
so
So
true.
we
It's so
decided that
true.
the
And
thing is yeah, the biggest problem is with the dating apps, people get stuck on the apps. They
yeah,
never actually like one things that I've been
yeah.
because I'm still on the apps. I'm talking to all the women and I'm like, well, what are your problems? They're like, you're only here for market research. I'm like, no, I'm actually here for dates.
I love
I'm
it.
going on a date tomorrow with the girl I got off one of the apps. Just because I'm still using them. I still want to use them and whatnot. It's there. I'm a busy guy. So, but the long and short is we found it. We figured that, okay, so if we're going to create an amazing experience, we need to get people off the apps. We need to get them in person. But if they're going to come to an event, they still want to be able to have chances of meeting their person at that event.
Hmm.
Everybody
Right.
talks about this organic experience that they want to have, meeting their hubby in the grocery store or meeting this person at
Right.
such event. But the
Yes.
likelihood of them just going to a random event and actually doing that, they're gonna have to do crazy manifestation to get that to happen. Or we could create an artificial way for that to actually happen by them submitting a profile.
Okay.
Imagine you submit a profile to us
Yeah.
and we go ahead and we send you events via email that
I
would
love
have
it.
your ideal partner at those events.
Be amazing.
Based
Oh,
on the
that'd be
profile you submit. So there's
amazing.
no more profile swiping. You just say, okay, there's three events in the city that could potentially have my partner based on the profile I submitted. And these are invite only. So we send out invites to people, they submit their profile, and only people that can go to these events are if they're part of our platform. That way the
Okay.
people that are going to the events, we know they've come through the platform, they're vetted, they have a profile, and then we're doing the matchmaking for the event. So we're like, okay, Laura would go really good with this person because we think this, and then we're just gonna throw people in at the events, and it's just gonna be like it's not gonna be speed dating. We hated that as well. Myself and
Oh,
Alex,
it's
we both
awful.
went
It's
to speed
ridiculous.
dating is like there's too much pressure, all that kind of stuff. Like
Why
we
do you have
looked
to
at all the
speed
things
it
in the
up?
market. Yeah,
It's crazy.
it's a slow burn.
Yeah.
It's a slow burn. You need to warm up the oven before
Yeah,
you.
exactly.
So we wanted to create those experiences, but we realized one thing as well is like there's different age groups, right? Different age groups are gonna want to do different things. So we're
Yes.
gonna be doing all different things for different age groups, different styles of events. We're gonna do the unscalable first. We're gonna start in Toronto. We're gonna do events for different age groups. We're gonna start out with my co-founder. She's Gen X, and one of the biggest problems with them is like getting back in after separation and divorce. A lot of her
Yeah.
friends are going through that stage right now. So they want the events to essentially find somebody that's like, okay, you have three kids. We need to find people that are okay with like dating
With
somebody
the
who
three
has
kids.
kids.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
exactly.
So there's
Yeah,
all these barriers right now that
that's
we have to
right.
connection. And
But
again,
that's
you put it on a
nice.
profile on a dating app, and it's like looking, it's like us. Like when we're looking at resumes,
Yeah.
that's what I think about. And I'm like, I can't just judge somebody based on a profile. I want to be able to feel their energy. And the only way you
Uh,
can feel somebody's energy and you can actually get to know like their nuances, their body language, do they actually is there eye contact? That's the
yeah,
only way you can do that is in person.
100%. There's
You
no
know what I
other
mean?
way. Exactly. And I mean, this is where our services come in because our clients don't have the time, right, to
Mm-hmm.
research all this and to meet with the candidates. That's what I do all day long, is I'm
Mm-hmm.
talking to them and meeting them, and then I assess, oh no, I don't think so. Or, because for me personally, I've been doing this for close to 20 years now. Um, I meet the employer and I capture their essence, just like you guys do, right? So I capture
Mm-hmm.
their essence. It's so important because,
Mm-hmm.
example, you need a sales rep. Sure, I could find you a sales rep that could sell these dental products, no problem. There's probably
Mm-hmm.
100 in your area, but
Mm-hmm.
which one will get you? Which one is your style, So
Mm-hmm.
talking to the owner, talking to the other colleagues, I get the sense of their type of funny. Like people say, oh,
Mm-hmm.
I want a funny man. Yeah, but you're funny and my funny is not the same. But
Oh,
if
they're
I
completely
get to
different.
know you, then I might not find you're funny, but getting to know
Yeah.
you, I get your type of funny and I'll
Yeah.
find like I get it. So I'm sure
Yeah.
you live this every day. Like I'm sure
Oh,
this is
one
what you
million
do.
percent. 1 million
Exactly. Like you
percent.
might think, oh, that's not my style or that's not funny, but you get it when you meet the person, you see the profile,
Mm-hmm.
right? So
Yeah.
I'm a matchmaker too in the corporate world. So I know
Yeah.
what you do.
Yeah.
It's very similar. It's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's so important. I found that
it
like
really
one thing
is.
like being in recruitment, I did it for 3 years, and now I've been doing it with my own company. Is the biggest thing
Yeah.
is like values alignment. If you can't like right now, if you can't align on your values and your culture, like it's not going to work.
It
It will
is
not work because
not
that's
going to
yeah.
work.
Yeah,
It's not.
exactly. That person's going to come in even if they're an A player in terms of their actual skills. If they don't fit with the culture, if they're a high performer, they come into an organization with a bunch of B players that are just not at that level. They're not going to be happy. That person's going to be like, I'm doing all the work. The values are just
Yeah.
not aligned. Doesn't
They
work out.
don't no, exactly. When the values are aligned, it's like a family. Your values are sort of aligned because you learn the same values at home. You'd all have
Hmm.
different characters, you all have different personalities and likes and dislikes, but your values are there. And it's like you could go out with your sister and a stranger says something and you'll be like, "Oh my God, I know my sister's gonna cringe at that." Like you'll know already her behavior. And
Yeah.
that's important in an organization because your values
Hmm.
are the same. So if a
Hmm.
client is talking in a certain way or a supplier, you're already going to know, and you're going to know even how to address a problem to that colleague because you know
Hmm.
how he thinks. Having values aligned, it's easier to assess what the outcome of a behavior is going to be. And
Hmm.
you don't even articulate that in your brain while you're talking to the person, but it's an innate, it's that feeling, right? It's that essence, right?
Yeah.
So important. Yeah.
Mhm.
So,
The
are you a
values is
large team?
we are a small team.
Okay.
We have a team of about 10 people. We have some people that are down in Brazil, including our marketing exec.
Cool.
He recently married his now fiance is in Brazil. He's actually getting citizenship down there, so he moved down there. We have some people that are here in the GTA. We have one team member that's in Vancouver, but yeah. So we have
That
a handful
is
of team
so
members.
cool. Yes, because you need a lot of people in IT as well. Like,
Yeah.
are you and your partner sifting through the profiles to assess, okay, who's going to be invited to that event and that event? Like, you do that, right?
Yeah,
It's your strength. Yeah.
exactly. So myself and Ashley, so for the Fix Your Fate team, it's just us. I have an agency team as well. That's what I was talking about. But myself and
Okay.
Ashley, it's just a one man, one woman show right now. So we've essentially just started to launch it out. We're
That's
starting out
awesome.
with the podcast is going to be coming out within the next couple of weeks. That's going to be YouTube, all kind of stuff. We're going to launch our pilot episode where myself and Ashley are going to tell our stories.
Yeah.
We are also going to be coaches in our own domain as well. I've gone through everybody asked me, they're like, Matt, how did you go from restaurants to like lifeguard to PT to like recruit to like labor to recruitment to operations to this? I was trying to find out what I wanted to do in fulfillment. If you've heard of Ikigai, which is a Japanese philosophy called reason for
Yes.
being,
Yes.
Ikigai is like there's four things: what you're passionate about, what you can be paid for, what the world needs, and then some. There's one other one. I always forget it, but when you can find the intersection of those four things,
Right.
that essentially gives you true fulfillment. Right now with Fix Your Fate, I've been able to find true fulfillment in this. It feels like a massive calling both for myself and Ashley,
I
and
love it.
we feel like we are uniquely qualified to be able to solve this big problem that we have in our
You
world.
are. I could feel it. I could see it.
Yeah, yeah. So
It's
so so
gonna,
so that right there's that. So we figured like the big thing is like we need to get people back to learning how to socialize. Doing that
yep,
through events, either on the
yep,
platonic level or romantic
yep,
level, for the events is gonna be huge.
yep.
Then doing the coaching on the back end, myself and Ashley are gonna have our own coaching offers, but we also want to bring on other embedded coaches that we think could help out with our mission, partner with them,
Yep,
bring them onto the platform as well.
yep.
And and then finally we want to have like an academy where we can teach people how to like socialize, reconnect, like interview skills, like all this stuff is like
Exactly.
there's so much that is not taught in schools that needs
I
to be taught
know.
about emotional intelligence, like just the small, tiny little skills, like
Yeah.
showing up on time, eye contact. My grandmother always said, she's always said, Matthew, when you're communicating with somebody, it's really important to build trust that you look into their eyes. You don't have to do it the
Yes.
entire time, but look
Yes.
into their eyes. Because if you're
Exactly.
looking away and everything, like how are you supposed to connect with somebody?
You won't
Right.
connect exactly. And a firm
So,
handshake and the body
yes.
language and even assess a little bit their temperament, if they're a
Mm,
quiet, soft person, don't be overly loud. Like I'm a very bubbly person and I know that. But if I'm with somebody who's a bit more shy or quiet, I'm not going to be like, I'm going to tone it down. I'll even use different vocabulary words, like
mm. You be a chameleon and you
you
adapt to
have
who
to be a
you're
chameleon and
speaking to.
adapt to in
Mhm.
order, not because oh, I shouldn't change my ways. Yeah, you should if you want to successfully communicate what you need to
Mhm.
communicate. So you gotta bridge it,
Yeah, it creates
somehow.
the likability as well with that person when you can communicate on their level. If they're talking really, really slow, if you start talking really, really slow, it creates that likability between the two because they feel like, okay, we're on the same level now. If you're like up here and the other person's down here, they're gonna be like, I don't even know, can't even relate to that. So,
Exactly, exactly. This is so cool. Okay,
mhm.
so first of all, it's such an honor and pleasure to meet you. This is so cool.
Pleasure,
When I saw it, I'm
the
like,
pleasure is mine
you're
as well. This is
such a
awesome.
great sport. And I know that there's a problem also in the corporate world and in the recruitment, you've seen it as well. And this is why
Yeah.
I've been writing a book. I'm almost done. It's a very long process, but it's a book
Mhm.
that basically will be an ultimate blueprint for job seekers. They could just go
Love
anywhere
that.
in the book and seek what they need that day, that week, whatever they're going through,
Hmm.
from networking to interviewing to creating that resume that commands respect and how to do that whole process. So it's
Hmm.
really a blueprint, but it's also a lot of insight from my own personal experiences as well, but also
Uh-huh.
from my work being here in the trenches
Yeah.
for almost 20 years, and
Hmm.
hearing how these resumes are discriminated, torn apart, judged, interviews. So many times I think the candidate is great. I think it's a slam dunk practically. And then my client says, "Oh my God, she showed up late and didn't apologize,
Oh
or
my
her
goodness.
perfume was reeking. We're all gonna barf in the room, or they're a big
Oh my
smoker and we can't
goodness.
stand that." So it's like, it could be anything, right? Sometimes they could come and they reek of smoke. And these people are, let's say my client is against smoking and they have a no smoking policy, of course, but whatever,
Oh my
whatever throws
goodness.
them off, right? And
Hmm.
then I hear, oh, Laura, he's a smoker. And so it's a form of discrimination too, right? But
Yeah.
this is the thing. I can't start causing trouble saying, hey, Matt, you're not getting the job because you're a smoker. Like, I can't do that. But
No,
I'm going to do that
yeah.
in the book. I'm going to write it out loud and say, guys, just be
Yeah.
aware, like, be aware.
Yeah.
You're a smoker. Like, you know.
Just tone it down. You're going to be doing it on break, but in the interview, when you're presenting yourself, because
Yeah.
that's going to be outside of work, they don't need to know that you're going to be doing it that you're going to smell like this in the office.
Exactly. Like really make sure you air out that suit or that piece of clothing really
Hmm.
well and make sure that they don't have to know, Anyway. So, I don't want to take up much of your time because you're such a sport to give me this time. So, real quickly, because
Hmm.
again, I want to honor your time. Like tell me where do you look first when you get a resume? What really do you look for right away? What do you find yourself looking for or at right away?
The first thing that I look at is
Yeah.
the design. So I look at the design. Did somebody like word stuff? Did they just like shove a bunch of stuff on a piece of paper and try and cram as much information on there as possible?
Right.
I prefer because it makes it easier for me to read. And I can tell like immediately attention to detail. When I look at a resume, I'm like attention to detail. I'm looking for the spelling mistakes, stuff like that as I'm scanning. If I find that stuff and I'm looking for attention to detail as an employer, gone. Next.
Gone.
You know what I mean? If somebody just stuffs a bunch
Yeah.
of like a
Yeah.
laundry list of all of the all the
Oh,
responsibilities in a role,
yeah.
gone. Next.
Gone next. It's too much.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah. It's
Because you're
it's
not first of all, when they do that, you're not even recognizing your own job description in their resume. I always tell
yeah.
candidates, make sure the reader can recognize your job description in your resume. So we don't need
Yeah.
all that laundry list. Less is more. Just give
That's
them
it.
what they need to
That's exactly
know.
what I put down your focus. Focus.
Focus.
If you're applying for a specific job, tailor your resume. The employer's going to see it. Tailor your resume to that position. If you've worked in 30 different previous roles, you're not going to need to put all 30 roles and have like a 10-page resume.
No.
If you only need enough to fit on one page. Me as a recruiter, I'm only reading the first page anyway. If the first page
Yeah.
is not good, I'm not reading the rest.
Yeah, of
So
course.
really focus on if it is a longer resume. The one thing I tell candidates as well is focus above the fold. It's just like web design. When you
Yeah.
design a website, the
Yeah.
most important thing is above that fold.
Yeah.
Anything below that is if you can get them interested, then they're going to read the rest. But
Absolutely. Exactly.
but because
Now,
because it's 200 applications, 400, 500 applications depending on the role, I don't have time
exactly.
to go through every. I would love to. I would
Yeah.
love to, but
I know, but we can't. Exactly.
yeah.
However, sometimes in technology, especially tech positions, some resumes come in and they're 5, 6, 7 pages long. I
Yeah.
never was bothered by that because for me, I find that it's relevant. Now, if you're telling me on page 7 you worked at McDonald's at 16, now that's ridiculous. And you're gonna turn me off now. It's like, oh, come on, really? But if
Yeah.
but if these 5 pages are telling me your progress in technology, because I sometimes you need to know if they worked in that type of, that type of coding or whatever and grew into this
Mm.
current, more modern, whatever software. You need to know that, right? So I
Hmm.
never count pages on a resume. Do you ever
Hmm.
find yourself like, do you agree or do you find yourself counting
No,
pages?
I never count the pages.
Yeah,
What I look for is like I'll tell you a couple things that I look for.
yeah.
Versus the laundry list, I look for one big thing that I tick off, like I just throw resumes to the side, is like, did you put what the results that you actually delivered in
Thank
your
you.
description, or did you put a laundry list? Like anybody that puts like I delivered 100% increase in sales volume or lead volume over the course of like my first 30 days in this role, I look at that, I'm like, okay, top of the pile, here we go.
Exactly.
So those are the ones that go through. The results is really important, and candidates need to understand that. Like that's what employers look for. That's what business owners want. They don't like
Exactly.
the difference between somebody being able to do a job and do it well is the results they're able to drive. And again,
Exactly.
some employers will be like, okay, I don't have the cash, so I can't hire the person with results, but there's still really great people out there that can still deliver results within your budget. You know what I mean? So
Right. Exactly.
results is one of the first things I look for. And then again,
Absolutely.
the clarity and less is more, like we had mentioned, just focus. Make it easy
Absolutely.
for me to read. If I just skip it, if it's too hard for me to read and the font's too small and stuff, I just skip it. I'm like,
I
no.
know, or too condensed and it's all smushed together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Then
exactly. This is
the,
great.
the last thing
Thank
I'll
you
say,
for that.
if it's
Yes,
a
oh, go ahead.
creative
Yes, of
position,
course.
so if we go creative position, I'm looking for the style of the resume. I don't, if you're applying for a creative position, if you put a website together or something like that, I'm like, okay, bang, I love the creativity. If you design the resume in such a way where it shows me what kind of design you can put out for the company, that's phenomenal. Include some samples, like all that kind of stuff. I would say going even the furthest that I've seen candidates go, I had a guy submit a Loom video to me with him. He was like, I'd really love to apply for Growth Boss. He went to the website. He was like, I love this, and I was like, okay, he's top of the pile interviewing tomorrow. Like,
100%. a
yeah, so
hundred
going
percent.
above and beyond. Don't
Absolutely.
just submit a resume. Like submit something that is very like a company will value that you went through, you did the research, and you created something custom for them.
Yeah.
That shows your intent. That shows how much you actually care about the role, how driven you are to actually succeed. The fact that you're able to succeed in that interview process and you're so driven, that shows that you're going to do that in the role. You're going to do
Yep.
that exact thing for them in the role. So I looked at that. I'm,
Exactly.
I'm like, okay, I love this. Boom, top of the pile. He's getting an interview. Potentially, like I don't say it because it could be he could get on the interview. It could like completely late.
But at least he's gonna get
It
a
could,
shot. At least he's gonna
yeah,
get a
but
shot. That's
he gets a
amazing.
shot. He gets a shot for that. So
So that's so cool. So let's talk about the interview. I'd love to know your thoughts on it, like your so maybe a story that you really you know was a big no-no that you want to share that people should
oh,
not do, or also maybe one of your the best interviews you've experienced,
let's
to give an
let's
example.
definitely let's go with a couple of things that like my a couple of things within the past year that have really put me off.
Oh
Um,
boy, can't wait to hear.
I got an interview with a candidate. He was amazing on paper, amazing on paper.
Yeah.
Got on the call, and the entire interview, it was like I was speaking to the side of his head.
Oh
He
gosh,
was,
no.
and I was just like,
Come
I was asking him questions. I was like, there's no way we're gonna do the entire interview like this. And
on. Oh,
I was like, can you face the camera? And he was like, no, my camera's over here. And I'm just like, oh my
but
God.
no, but you have to fix that before the interview, my friend.
Yeah. Yeah. So and again, it comes down to human connection. Like I was so distracted by that body language, by that behavior, that it was really hard for me to actually like digest what he was saying and find value in what he was saying because that was in the back of my head. Right.
Course. I
So,
understand. Absolutely. It's happened to me many
mhm.
times. Yeah. I once had somebody show up, for an executive assistant position, and she shows up looking like she just got out of the shower, bun in her hair, but like a messy, messy bun. I could definitely tell between the
Like
messy.
it
It was like
was like
just,
get put it together in like two
whatever.
minutes.
Yeah, yeah, like a whatever scrunchie, and with a little tank top, nude color. She looked like she just came out of bed or just got out of the shower, like it was a day. And I said to her, "Do you know this is an interview? Like, I'm not your sister calling you. Like, you know this is an interview,
Yeah.
right?" She's like, "Yeah, yeah." I said, "Okay." Well, I said, "You know what? My client's gonna ask me, how is she, Laura?" And I could say, "Yes, she's qualified. You give me proof but I don't know if you can meet their standards of work attire because this in particular employer, he gets a lot of VIPs coming to the office. Do you own a
Hmm.
suit? Do you own a blouse? I don't know. You know, so
Hmm.
even with a recruiter, you should show up dressed for the part.
That's it.
I'm
That's
dressed for
it.
the part. Okay, today's Friday. I'm a little bit more laid back, but
I'm
I'm
laid
dressed.
back too.
Yeah.
I'm in my Friday attire as well.
Yeah, me too.
We're both
My
the
hair's
same.
a mess today, but but just for the part. But
Yeah.
anyways, so that when you talk about the human connection, there's also that as well that I can't
Hmm.
believe we got too laid back, because now just because something's on video and we're not physically going to meet each other, it doesn't mean all hell breaks loose and you could, sure, don't brush your teeth if you don't want to. How will I know? But you got to dress the part. You
Hmm.
got to dress
Big
the part. You got
time.
to show respect for your time, my time, and for the position. Do you
Yeah,
really want
big
it?
time.
You know?
Yeah, and I
So
know
yeah,
exactly. It just shows effort and lack of
yeah.
care. The
What's
other
a
one that
yes?
the
Go
other one
ahead.
that
Yes,
really
yes.
stands out to me, Laura, is I got through a number of questions with this girl. She was answering them, and then there was this one question that she unfortunately got stumped on.
Okay.
I sat there. I asked the question. I asked it a second time, and then I sat there for like 3 minutes, and she
Oh,
just stood there on camera like this. And I was waiting because as I'm like, okay, are you gonna reply? I was like, okay, let's see how long this goes. And then after 3 minutes, I was like, okay, I gotta break the silence. Okay, we'll go to the next question. But it's I can understand people get nervous, but if you don't know how to answer the question, just say, I don't know how to answer the question. And
Yeah.
it shows a lot of intelligence. Just say, hey, could you give me a bit more clarity on that? Rephrase the question.
Rephrase it. What do you mean by that exactly? I
Yeah.
beg your pardon. May I
Yeah.
ask you what the question was? Do you recall? I'm just
I
curious.
I
Was it a
can't remember.
technical? Was it very
No,
technical?
it was more so skill based. Yeah, so it was more so skill
Okay.
based based on the role. She was
Interesting.
interviewing for a marketing position. I asked her a skill
Oh.
based question and she didn't. Yeah,
Oh,
so
poor thing.
I can't
She
remember
got
exactly
stuck.
what it is.
Yeah, but exactly. And that's what I tell you brought up such a great point because I tell candidates, especially those that are nervous, when I set them up for an interview, I'll say, Julie, example, you're going to be nervous. You are a nervous person. That's fine. When you get to the interview, because nerves are noise and it just pollutes everything. It just pollutes your performance and your thoughts and your way to articulate. Just tell the interviewer, pleasure to meet you. I must admit, I am so nervous today to meet you because I am honored for this time that you have granted me. Now
Mm,
everybody's smiling, you're smiling. You named the elephant in the room. I'm freaking nervous. I'm sweating, and I hope that my armpit, like sweat from my armpits, are not showing. But you said it, and
yeah.
you have a laugh, you have a chuckle, and everybody you're gonna calm down. And anyway,
Hmm.
so to your point, just say it. If you're nervous, if you don't understand, state it,
Hmm.
elegantly say, I beg your pardon, I don't understand, this question. Can you elaborate? So
Yeah, it's so simple. I think
yeah.
bringing good energy into the interaction first, and again, breaking the ice. I think that's really important for having a great conversation. Because if you go into it and you're immediately like, okay, straight to the point, without any you're just getting to know the person. You are literally it's
I
the first
know.
time you're meeting them.
I know. But sometimes it's the opposite, right? Sometimes the
Yeah.
interviewer is nervous themselves. I get a lot of clients that call me and say, "Oh, Laura, I hate meeting people and I hate interviews,
Ah.
Can you join me or can you guide me? What should I ask them?" So, I also warn candidates about that. If I have a bubbly candidate or a little bit more extrovert like I am, I'll warn them. I'll say, "Listen, you're going to meet a client of mine, John, for say, John is not extroverted like you and I. Beautiful man, brilliant. He's very interested in your candidacy. He's excited about you, but he's not a smiler. So don't sit there thinking, oh my God, they hate me, they hate me. It's not about you. I'm letting you know he's not a smiler and
Mm.
he's going to be curt and he's got a lot on his mind. So just answer the question. Don't worry about it. There will be minimal small talk because that's his personality. So I try to help as best as I can, right? Because sometimes it's the opposite. So
I think that's so crucial. I think that's
it's
so crucial
crucial.
for is letting them know who they're walking into because as
Yes.
it's going to affect their performance as well. But if you
Yeah.
prep them ahead of time, I think that's super crucial.
It's so important, absolutely. So tell me, last question. I don't want to take much more of your time. I could talk to you all day, I feel. But give me an example of a great interview that you said, wow, this is how it should always be. This was great.
Hmm. I think the number one thing bring to the table is like bring a smile and bring great energy and
Yeah.
be enthusiastic. I think the most important thing to have a great conversation with an employer is really doing your research, understanding the company. That way, when you guys can go back and forth and have an amazing conversation. And at the end of the interview, you can also ask those important questions. That's one of the other things I look for is for an intelligent candidate who is a high performer. I'm looking for them to actually ask questions at the end of the interview. 1 to 3, I have them down here. Ask about the team culture. How would you describe your team culture? Growth opportunities, like how can I progress? That shows that you actually care about the career path and you're not just going to do in and out. And then
Yep.
finally, like, what does success look like in the role? Like I look for that at the end. I say a candidate that brings great energy to the interaction. They do the small things well. So you're on time, you're presentable. You again, you ask. We have a little bit of small talk to me. Let's crack some jokes. I think
Yeah.
like I think interviews are like they're way too serious, and I find that
Mhm.
I get the best out of people when I make them feel comfortable as an employer. So that's what I try and do, and I employ every other person that I'd be doing interviews. I say if you can make the candidate comfortable, that you're gonna get the best out of them, and because you may
Exactly.
lose somebody because they're nervous. And they may not like,
Exactly.
for example, that girl, I tried so hard to get her to
Oh,
open up at the beginning of the call, but she was just so nervous. I was like, don't
oh,
even
poor
worry,
thing.
it's totally cool. Like, and I say to every candidate on the call, like, take as much time as you need for the questions. I'm
Yes.
not your enemy. All we're going to do is have a simple conversation, pretend we're at the coffee shop where
Yeah,
we're meeting for the first time. I'm a friend from your friend recommended me as an employer, small
exactly.
business owner. Let's just have a conversation. So,
Exactly.
mhm.
Exactly. I love your
Yeah.
approach. Oh my gosh, this is so great.
Yeah.
My goodness. Thank you so much. It was really a pleasure meeting you.
Yeah.
Would you
Likewise.
mind if I take the 80% part of this video
Yeah.
and post it,
Absolutely.
yeah, and then tag
Yeah.
you and
1,000,000%.
something. I'm going to
I
do
would
that.
love
I'm going
for
to
it.
clean it up. Maybe not the beginning, the first 5 minutes of our call, but I'm going to.
Yeah.
Okay.
Totally cool. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally cool.
Oh, that's awesome.
Absolutely.
I'm
We
going to
can
do that. I'm going to
absolutely do
tag
that.
you. My goodness, let's stay connected.
Yeah.
Happy to collaborate with you guys in any way if it comes to
Yeah.
interviewing and or helping people with resumes. If you're
Yeah.
talking about having a little side or a guest speaker or whatever, like a side,
1,000,000%.
whatever, I'd be happy to help because this is my calling. It's my calling. I lived in Toronto actually, young and
Hmm.
eligible area decades ago.
Young and eligible.
Young and eligible, they called it. I don't know if it's still called that.
Where's that area? Which area is that?
You see, you don't know it. Young and Eglinton.
Young and Eglinton is young
They
and
used to
eligible. Oh
call
my
that young and
God.
eligible.
Oh
And
my
let me tell
God.
you, I would walk. I lived on Beloyal Street, right across the
Mhm.
street from the Beloyal train stop. And I would walk to Eglinton, by myself. I was young and no, with coffee.
Yeah.
And I would always get, picked up all the time. I would always, have somebody strike up a conversation with me,
Uh-huh.
exchange a phone number. It was
Uh-huh.
really that vibe. Everybody that was like, professional and single. It was really cute. Yeah, but I'm
Yeah, I
talking
love that.
decades
I love it.
ago.
Young and
Yeah.
eligible.
Young and eligible, we called
I'm gonna
it.
ask my co she might know about it. I'm gonna be like, hey, do you know I'm gonna because I see her every Friday. We do pizza, we work all kinds of stuff. Like, hey,
Awesome.
do you know Young and Eligible? And she'll be like, how do you know that? I'm gonna be like, my secret.
Yeah, it's Young and Eglinton. It was really
Yeah,
lovely, lovely shops and dinner clubs
yeah,
and all that stuff, boutiques. So I had a good time. But yeah, so it was really, really great meeting with you. I'd love to reconnect with you again, maybe even meet you guys next time I'm in Toronto and
yeah, 100%.
do stuff. It'd be great. So
Yeah. We're gonna
it's
be running a lot of
amazing.
events, and one of the streams that I
Yeah.
want to do is I want to do some like corporate events. Myself and Ashley, we both want to do speaking. Culture is one thing that I learned from the previous company that I was working for. I learned so much about culture working for 5 years for them. They were
Yes.
so hard on and enforcing the values and making sure that culture was top notch. And
Hmm.
then I've now applied that to the agency that I'm working with right now that I run, and then the new startup that we have as well. We're building culture again from scratch. So
Right.
I think it's super, super important. But
It's super
we're always looking for
important.
partners at our agency as well, Growth Boss. Like one of the big things we don't have up and running a lot is our recruitment arm, but it's something that we want to be able to help with businesses because we help supply and demand constrained businesses. So
Yeah.
the supply constrained businesses, they often need to hire. We
Yeah.
haven't been able to work with a lot of them yet, but we're starting to get into more so the medium style businesses, even enterprise level that are going to need to hire. So again, I'd love to work with you in the future. You seem like a great person, great
It's
energy.
sweet.
You're really passionate about what you do. It's your
I
calling.
am. I
So
am. Yeah.
yeah.
I was in venture capital. I'm a finance grad and I was in venture capital and my territory
Hmm.
was Peterborough all the way down to Quebec City.
Hmm.
And then, that's why I lived in Toronto for a while because the company had promoted me. I lived there. Anyway, long
Hmm.
story short, I got married, I had my first child, and corporate Canada, because it was a big boys club in my time at the time.
Hmm.
So
Hmm.
corporate Canada decided to restructure while I was on mat leave.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, exactly. So I literally, I'm not shy to say, I really, postpartum and all that, I'm so passionate about, I was that good Italian girl. You go to school, you follow the line, you stay with your employer till you get the gold watch, that type of
Mm.
mentality, right? The
Yeah.
values that you were taught. Anyways, I gave it my all, and having that happen to me, I was very depressed for months, literally in bed with the baby. Till my husband one day says, "That's enough. You, my dear, are going to be a recruiter." And I'm like, "What? What's that? What? Why?"
Out of nowhere, out of
And that's
nowhere.
how it's, yeah, because he says, "Laura, you're so kumbaya. You love people. You're always putting people together. You're natural at it. You're a great listener. You're an active listener." And he went on and on and on. I'm like, "You're nuts." And behind my back, he sent my resume to an agency. And so I'm literally in bed, like, oh, when you're really down, you're down. I'm like, in bed. And they called me for an interview. I'm like, who's this? So then I'm like, son of a gun, my husband, bastard,
Ah.
he sent the resume. I don't want to do this. I don't even know how to. I was intimidated. I had no idea what this was all about.
Hmm.
But I went, got the job on the spot because they were opening an accounting and finance division for their agency. Since I
Oh,
knew that
okay.
so intimately, and I sold venture capital working with startups and early funding companies, I knew
Mm-hmm.
about this. And so when I did my first placement, I'm like, wow, my heart, my soul sang to the heavens. I'm like, this is my calling. This is great. So 6 months later, I started my own, and I've been doing it my way for 17 plus years. So there you
Which
go.
is awesome.
That's my
Yes,
quick
and
story.
I love
Matt,
that.
I took so much of your time. Thank you
It's
so
okay.
much.
Yeah,
Really, it was such a pleasure.
yeah. Absolute pleasure is mine. Where are you located, Laura?
So now I'm back in my hometown. So I'm in Montreal right now. I'm on the west part of
Oh, love
Montreal.
Montreal.
Yeah, I'm in
Love
the
love
west part.
Montreal.
If ever you come down, let me know.
I may be up there second week of August potentially.
Ah, freak. I'm gonna be in France the second week of August.
Ah,
Come back, come back, come back, or I'll come. You know what? Also, if ever you find there's an event, a trade show, or something interesting,
yeah.
where we meet like interesting people, interesting leaders and business owners. If something
Hmm.
comes to mind, keep me posted, and that will be my way to at least meet you, and then we can
Yeah,
do
for
some
sure.
events together or something.
Yeah, yeah,
I'm
we could
just
have you
throwing it
here
out
as well.
there.
Yeah,
Yeah, but we'll
100%.
meet one day.
Definitely, definitely, Laura. Awesome meeting you. Have a wonderful weekend,
You
and we'll stay
too.
connected.
Hey,
I'll
thanks
talk to you
so
soon.
much. Bye.
My
Thank
pleasure.
you.
Bye.
Bye-bye.